Almost every decade within America has seen college students actively protesting to create a more equal and safe environment. When times of injustice in society have grown, students have formed marches, sit-ins, and rallies in response.
My name is Juliet Matamoros.
Hi, my name is Ever Huerta.
So my name is Samira Martinez Gonzalez.
My role in Mecha is, this is my first semester serving as the Mecha president. I'm lucky to have a really communicative and great cabinet that's really on it, but mainly listening to their needs and obviously like our general body's needs, as well as other organizations that we work with. So really listening to community voices, obviously being a Mecha representative in any community events that we get invited to, and making sure everything as a collective is flowing evenly, just so we could focus more on our mission.
So as secretary, I am mainly focused on internal communication and just the organizing of our documents or any events that we have. Whenever there is a potential to organize a big event, such as the rally that took place, I believe it was February 4th, I was in charge in coordinating the details between SOAR and Mecha, making sure that everything was going according to plan and that both like our individual organization and the collective can function effectively and achieve our common goals.
I think specifically for Mecha, our goal has been to continuing to cultivate this safe space for students. Regardless legal status or whatever the case may be, you are welcome here. You have a space here that if you have concerns, we are going to make sure that those concerns are heard by our admin. So we specifically focus on the Chicano community, but as well the larger, greater Latino community specifically. So the history of Mecha, we started back in the 60s, late 60s, and especially back then during the civil rights era, we saw a lot of movements, and especially here in California, where we have a rich history of activism, especially in East LA, where many of the students were fighting for educational rights, for equal opportunity, and that is why we serve that community. We continue to carry that mission, and where we want to ensure that students have that opportunity of higher education.
But we do tend to focus on like the Chicano struggles. However, because we are a part of like this broader coalition, we also try to find that connection between the struggles of like our community and the struggles of, let's say, like the Palestinian people. We often collaborate with SJP, which is Students for Justice in Palestine, or like I mentioned earlier, we collaborate with like Filipino orgs. We collaborate with orgs who focus on the undocumented community. In a time when collective censorship and ideological conformity are at an alarming growing rate, now more than ever, it's important for everyone to stand up against injustice. For many students, these rights are personal, and the fear of the consequences of speaking out is never worth more than the consequences of staying silent. I think there's this belief that in order to be an activist, you have to like go to protests, you have to like put your physical body on the line, but that's not necessarily the case. There's many other ways to take part in activism and to be an advocate for your community or perhaps for another community. Not only like our goals as Mecha, but our goals as SOAR, Students Organizing Against Repression, is to really expand and to target more folks, and to continue to like light that fire in people, pass the torch.
I mean, there's a lot of main goals for Mecha. I think for me, the reason why I joined was academic excellence, being able to support our first gen community and being able to provide resources that students wouldn't know were available, but as well creating a safe space on campus, creating a space where students can express their identity, where they feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, many of us, this is our first time in higher education, many of us don't know what we're doing, and being able to cultivate and create a space and where students can let their guard down and create community is a main goal of Mecha.
And so, despite the fact that people do graduate and they do move on, they continue to be a crucial part of student activism here on campus, and they continue to guide us and they continue to, provide insightful perspectives, which really pivots the way that we function as organizations and the events that we tend to host and organize. I think I want to emphasize like spreading knowledge, not fear. Like amidst the political climate with the ongoing ICE raids and us living in a fascist state, it's really important that we don't make ourselves even more vulnerable to our oppressors by spreading fear, by telling our people, hey, like you can't go outside, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, and more so empowering them.
I feel like there will be no change, or there will be no heads turning if there's no boots on the ground. So, you know, for generations in this country specifically and countries around the world, protesting has been effective to like really get Congress members and government to like really turn their heads, and you need to make noise to gain traction.
Being a student activist is super important because young people need to raise their voices. Young people need to realize that their voices have power, and that at the end of the day, you know, we are the future generation of leaders. We are going to be impacted by a lot of the decisions that are being made by our lawmakers. Everything that is happening right now, at the end of the day, has a long-term effect, and that long-term effect is going to affect us. Because I think at the end of the day, that's how it is. At the end, there's no guidebook on how to become an activist. There's no play-by-play. So it's like you just got to throw yourself in and, you know, and just know what you want to do, but also set those boundaries of like sometimes that if you know, if it's not for you, or if you realize like maybe this isn't the best way for me to be involved, that's a-okay. I want students to realize that there's different opportunities, there's different avenues, and to not be afraid to get involved, because at the end of the day, that's what the system wants. If you're afraid and you're not going to get involved, then that's what they want. So sometimes you just got to jump in, you know, and hope for the best. It's hard to not turn on the news and be bombarded with images of families being torn apart, children being kidnapped, and the government lying to pretend like what is happening is necessary and normal. You can scroll on social media and see the same video of police brutality from 3 different angles. And while this can be understandably overwhelming, it's almost necessary to understand just how serious these issues are becoming. It is important to keep hope that things will get better, and that using your voice and keeping the belief that together we are stronger. Remember, solo el pueblo salva el pueblo. Only the people will save the people.